Howdy, this is Phantom Strider, and something's missing, one sec. Okay, now we're good. I have a confession to make. Ireland doesn't have enough bad cartoons to make a full top 5 list. In fact, most of the Irish cartoons I watched were downright acceptable, decent cartoons. So today, we're going to try something a little different and check out the top 3 worst and best Irish cartoons. And as always, if these cartoons do mean something to you, I'm glad. It's just my usual silly personal opinion, and I'm glad you can enjoy them. Anyway, let's do this countdown. The third worst Irish cartoon is Floppy Gardens. The moral of the story is okay, and the narrator is passable by a kid's cartoon standard. But jeebus! The animation looks like someone stuck their hand into a garbage can and then smeared it onto the paper. This makes Peppa Pig look like Da Vinci. But to be honest, apart from the garbage animation, the rest of this cartoon is acceptable by little kid standards. It's certainly not challenging for younger kids, and it's certainly not meant to be remotely watchable for older kids, but it's not really doing any harm. The third best Irish cartoon is Lily's Driftwood Bay.
There's your home, Snippy.
I never thought I'd say this, but this is Angela Anaconda done well. The paper animation style really suits the beach-like atmosphere. It's simply pleasant on the eyes for younger and older viewers. The kind young girl Lily lives with her dad and her seagull friend. We watch items drift onto shore, and Lily normally picks them up and makes an adventure out of them. While certainly a cartoon aimed at kids, it's one of those fine kids' cartoons that doesn't make you feel like upchucking your lunch the moment you watch it. There's a lot of imagination to this one, and I really appreciate when a cartoon can encourage new ideas and imagination in a kid. If you've got a younger viewer, I recommend they check out Driftwood Bay. And the second worst Irish cartoon is Zigzag
Callings on.
So it turns out the Irish have their own version of breadwinners, yet somehow they managed an even more unoriginal name than Sway and Bedos. These two UFO rejects are here to tell us second-rate comedian jokes about football, dancing, and going back to school. I give them credit for trying to educate kids on school, but is comparing school to an animal zoo really such a positive perspective on forced education?
It's like a zoo for children. Exactly. Divided into different classes. Like a zoo. And they get fed while they're there. Like a zoo.
The main problem is that the height of these Zog jokes is when their squeaky, jarring voices interpret a watermelon as a football. And the rest of their time they're basically doing humdrum suburban activities while yelling Zog at the top of their voices. And if that didn't leave you laughing, then congratulations. We both get to look at a better cartoon. And the second best Irish cartoon is Stump Food. I gotta admit, if there's one thing the Irish do well in their cartoons, it's a stylish, slick animation style. Skunk Fu is artistic, has good voice acting, and a nice pace to it. It actually reminds me of a much smaller scale Samurai Jack. About skunks. It's about a young skunk who is training in kung fu from a panda. Yes, I see the similarity as well, but it's very different. And this skunk and his animal friends have to fight off ninja monkeys. I never thought I'd get to say that, but we get to watch a fight with ninja monkeys. That is awesome. Any cartoon with ninja monkeys makes it into my good books. As is custom of the Irish cartoons, they keep the plot very simple and focus on just having a pleasant romp with a bunch of animals. Skunk Fu managed to make skunks pleasant. That is impressive. I still wouldn't get within 10 meters of one of the things, but one step at a time. And the number one worst Irish cartoon is Old Ones.
I heard Phyllis Mongan was taking them carpet suture classes for beginners.
Old Ones has but one goal: to master the art of old lady comedy. A style of comedy I never knew existed until now, and would have been probably happier not knowing at all. I never knew a joke could fail this bad. It can't just be the cultural gap, it can't. Your average Old Ones episode consists of old ladies talking about strip clubs and funeral ideas for a straight 10 minutes. And of course, all these old ladies are voiced by the same one guy.
He could have taken somebody's bloody eye out with them.
And I can safely say, this guy does not do a particularly impressive old lady impression. In fact, it's quite bad. Most scenes consist of one frame. Two old ladies in front of glass doors with their heads bobbing up and down. That's it. Apparently this cartoon is meant to represent existential tedium, and thanks to this cartoon, I can safely say the last 20 minutes of my existence was a tedium. So, well done, Old Ones. I guess you proved whatever deep point you're trying to make. Old Ones looks bad. It sounds about as pleasant as a meat grinder. And its subpar stripper jokes are about as funny as a morgue. This was the only truly bad Irish cartoon. And I can safely call it the #1 worst Irish cartoon. And the #1 best Irish cartoon is Puffin Rock. I'll be honest, I actually just made this list so I could recommend Puffin Rock. This is one of the most quaint yet beautiful, humble and simple cartoons I've ever seen.
And here's Papa Puffin, walking with his chest all puffed out.
Hang on. I know that voice from somewhere. Somehow I feel like that voice should be annoyed at me. That voice should be sitting at a computer telling me to...
Have you tried turning it off and on again?
That's it. It's Chris O'Dowd from the IT crowd. And he gives just the right pleasant, charming narration in this cartoon, really helping set the calming atmosphere. And Puffin Rock is one of the few modern kids cartoons I've seen that is willing to just take a moment to let the kids breathe, to let the kids soak in that moment. But at the same time, it doesn't talk down to the kids like they're slow. Puffin Rock lets both kids and adults just soak in the moment, while we watch two young puffins just explore their island and learn about the world. This one's available on Netflix, and I occasionally find myself tuning in. I definitely recommend giving an episode of Puffin Rock a watch. And I can easily call it the #1 best Irish cartoon. Frankly, the Irish have really created their own unique, whimsical style of cartoon in shows like these, treating kids carefully, but still with intelligence and not talking down to them. It was honestly really pleasant to look over most of the animation in this beautiful, friendly country. Do you think I missed an Irish cartoon among the best and worst? I honestly couldn't find that many Irish cartoons, so I may have missed a couple. If you think so, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.